Okay guys, we're going to show you your first recipe. This is going to be a vegan Alfredo with whole grain, whole wheat pasta. Okay, here we're getting started for Alfredo. So we chopped up our onions and we are not using oil to saute. It's not necessary. So we put a little bit of water in there. If it starts to stick, we'll add a little bit more. You could also use veggie broth if you'd like, but water's fine. We are doubling this recipe. So we added 2 whole onions to double it. You'll probably want to go ahead and double it too. It's delicious. Okay, we've got our water boiling over here for our brown rice spaghetti, which is also Whole Foods plant-based compliant that you can find at Aldi. We talked about in our pantry staple video. And then also these, you can use fresh, but we didn't have fresh, so we're just going to go with our frozen broccoli and cauliflower for our veggie on the side, and we'll steam those up in a little bit. So here we go with the sauce.
Here's the cashews. I have a Vitamix, so you can just put these right in and it'll blend up really well, but if you don't have a Vitamix, you either can boil these for about 10 minutes and it should soften them up enough to blend them to a creamy sauce, or you can soak them overnight.
If you're one of those really prepared people.
Which we are definitely not, so I'm glad we have this.
So, and these I find are cheapest. Cashews are expensive, guys, but Walgreens, the nice brand, has them cheapest. They go on sale. They're not always cheap, but when they do go on sale, just stock up. I think they're like $2.99 sometimes, so just get a bunch.
So we are using 1 cup isn't the normal recipe, and we're gonna, like we said, double it. So we're gonna put 2 cups in here. Pretty much the whole bag.
So 1 whole bag of cashews.
There we go. Okay. Alright, and you also add 2 cups of water, and since we're doubling, we'll add 4 cups of water. So I gotta get 2 more. The next 2 cups are going in. Okay. And now we're gonna add the lemon juice. And it is definitely necessary. My husband actually tried this one night without the lemon juice, and we could not get it to taste right. So definitely add that. Like 1 and 2. Okay. And it looks like the onions are sauteed enough, so we're going to add some garlic in there.
You're just wanting them to get a little bit translucent and soft.
Okay. So we're going to have 3 teaspoons. And I like garlic, so I do the
Yes, garlic's fantastic.
Alright. And we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to the Vitamix. You can always add more to taste, so start off maybe like slightly under what you need. Like this one calls for 1 teaspoon per batch, but I'm going to do like 1 teaspoon for the whole thing, and we can always add later because you can't undo the salt. That was half a teaspoon. Okay, and add a little bit of pepper. You can do about 1/4 teaspoon or whatever you feel. You'll probably add more because it tastes really good with black pepper. Right. And once this is sauteed enough, we'll just add it into here. And we'll blend it for a few minutes. So do that in a second. It smells really good. You can't beat onions and garlic. Okay. Oh.
Hang on.
I didn't. Okay. Alright. These are sauteed enough. Just enough to taste good and bring out the flavor, and we're going to stick these in here. Alright. And put the lid on. Alright, and I'm just going to turn this on. You probably want to run it for like at least a minute or 2, so all the flavors can combine. And it's going to get warm too, which that's what I love about the Vitamix. It gets all warm. See, it's already the color. up really well, as you can see. Looks good, and we're just gonna pour it into here.
Right back into that saucepan that y'all used.
Not too much. Oh,
Minimal
nice
dishes.
yeah. Okay. And I like to actually season it a little more after to make it really taste like Alfredo. My husband's actually amazing at seasoning in this, but he told me all the seasonings to add, so we're gonna make this pretty good. So we're gonna add a little bit of Italian seasoning, a little extra onion and garlic powder, a little bit of red pepper flakes because we like a little bit of heat, possibly a little more salt and pepper depending how it tastes, and we add a little bit of white pepper also. So we'll see about how much we use of that.
If you don't have white, black is fine. Alright. If your pot's big enough, just go ahead and dump it in. And when it cooks down a little bit, it'll fall in. If you have a smaller pot, break it up. You know, pretty sure you'll know how to make spaghetti.
Yeah, it says to cook about 8 to 9 minutes on this specific pasta too.
It doesn't usually... Are you still on? It doesn't usually take that long though. In my experience, it starts to get kind of gummy. So make sure you kind of watch that.
As they say, al dente, right? Oh, I didn't even turn this on. Alright, so we're going to slowly warm up the sauce a little bit, and then we'll taste it after we warm it up, because it does taste a little different, and then we'll season to taste after that. Alright, I am going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of each of these seasonings. And we'll start there, and add the salt last if you even need it, because these are going to do a lot for your sauce. You may not even need it at the end. Okay. Do a little bit less white pepper because you don't need much. Just a sprinkle, maybe even like an 8. And red pepper is definitely to taste because too much will be too spicy. So just a couple, about like that. I want to add just a little bit more black pepper. And just mix that up. A little. So, I mean, it's pretty much just playing with seasonings, and you'll start to learn better as you go. At the very beginning, we would watch videos of people just sprinkling in seasonings, and we're like, how much is that? Like, we want to know where it's perfect, but everybody's taste buds are different, so you're just going to have to slowly add a little bit and taste it as you go. So, want to get a spoon, Jen?
Is that your spoon?
That's my spoon.
No, let the dogs out.
Okay.
Oh, no, I don't want to let them out. I don't know if it gets close.
Okay. Spoon.
Spoon.
Let's see what you think.
Oops.
We're also kind of messy sometimes. So what do you think, Jen? Does it need anything?
My pregnant self needs more salt.
Okay, so we'll just add just a little bit more salt. And it tastes different every time I cook this. Sometimes I don't need any seasoning at all. So it's all up to you. And actually, Jen usually likes a little more salt, and I like less.
So I will end up putting more salt just on my personal one.
But that's better that way anyway, because you don't want it too salty.
No.
All right, I'm gonna taste
Yeah, it's just ever since I've been pregnant, I really enjoy salty foods.
I think it tastes really good.
Okay, and if y'all think that it needs more, start with, what do we do, 1/8 that time? So
Yeah,
maybe
no,
go down.
We did a 1/4.
Okay, so maybe do a 1/4 again, or 1/2 of a 1/4, which is 1/8, right? No. Yes. Okay.
And that's why I'm here.
So yeah, go down to 1/8 and try that after you do your 1/4s, and just kind of taste as you go. Like she said, whatever you feel like it's right. If you can't seem to get it, message us and we'll try and help you along.
Also, we don't have it, and don't buy it too often, but they have a vegan parm. I forgot who the company is, but it's really good. It tastes just like Parmesan cheese, and it tastes
Follow
amazing.
Your Heart has one.
It's probably Follow Your Heart, but make sure it says vegan, because I think there's another one that's not. But it's so good on top of this, and marinara sauce too.
And how's our noodles doing?
I think they are almost ready.
Yeah, and I don't think it's been
Maybe 5 minutes
Yeah,
at least.
so.
They're very close.
They still look a little crunchy. We'll try one.
Yeah, they're still a little. Maybe a few more minutes.
So maybe it is 7 to 8 minutes, and I just feel like time goes by fast.
Time goes by fast, Joan. 8 to 9. That's it.
Oh, my bad.
Yippee.
Follow y'all's packages on those, guys.
Don't listen to us on that one. But yeah, this is good. This is a really good recipe. Like, this is something to me that tastes pretty close to a real Alfredo. And a lot of people don't even know the difference. We got my father-in-law to try it, and he actually said it was pretty good. And it tasted pretty close to Alfredo. So it's a good recipe.
Now, before we take the hot water out, I'm going to gather a little bit just because we're steaming those veggies. So that'll just speed up the process. So I got about 2 cups out just to stick in the bottom of our steamer, and our noodles are done. I'm drain them.
Ta-da.
Alright, so now we're going to add the hot water back in and get our handy steamer basket. Which is also something that you're going to want to have for cooking veggies. It's fun little, like, folds up.
But steaming is definitely one of the best ways to eat it.
And this thing actually lifts up so that you don't have to stick your hand so far.
I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
The more you know.
Alright.
We'll probably just have that. The water's already hot, so I don't need to be on too much. Maybe like a 4, medium low.
That was frozen.
Whoops.
Yep.
Alright, and then we're going to cover that. Nope. And just kind of check back in about 3 minutes or so. We don't like them smushed. You just kind of want them cooked through.
Still a slight crunch to them.
Yeah. Guys, here's our finished product. We've got our whole grain noodles underneath there, and then our broccoli and cauliflower mix that's steamed lightly, and the Alfredo sauce ladled on top. And then we went out in our garden and got a little bit of fresh basil for the top, but that's totally optional. And it's delicious, simple, easy meal that your whole family will love. So y'all enjoy. Let us know how it turns out for you guys.
I love it.